Good evening. My name's Rick Drew. I'm on the board of the Canyon Country Advisory Committee. Al and I took a trip the other day, and we went around town and looked at a lot of the construction going on. I'm sure everybody's noticed there's plenty of construction going on around, and so we decided to just take a look and we'll discuss what we're talking about. And we were going east on Soledad, and we came up to Sierra Highway. And everybody notices that the tattoo parlor building has finally been torn down, and that's going to be part of the new Canyon Country Community Center. And the only problem is we still have a billboard there, and the city owns the property now on the corner, so we're not positive exactly what the billboard's going to do. Supposedly it's coming down, but there's no plans public plans for it yet. They did buy all the property. They bought that property, and they bought 6.5 acres behind that property along Soledad there. And there's a sign for the community center. You saw it as you were coming up here today. And on the right is the property for the community center. When they do build a community center, which is supposed to be done in 2020, let's hope, it will be quite a facility. It's going to be, I believe, 30,000 square foot building, or between 20 and 30,000 square foot building. Park area, small amphitheater, areas for farmers markets and all kinds of different things. It will be quite a thing, and it will be a definite improvement to our community. But so that's what's going on the right, and that's the 6.5 acres. The building there behind the sign is the old Caruso's building. Caruso's owned that building for over 50 years. The city came in and asked everybody to move out, and Caruso's wanted, what I heard was they wanted $1.5 million for the building, while the city didn't want to pay that. They relocated the vendors that were, or the shop owners that were there, dog grooming, hair salon, shoe repair. They found them alternative places to go. Then they were fighting with Caruso's because Caruso's had just remodeled, changed the name, and they were there for 1 year. But then apparently the city finally got them to go. I know they authorized eminent domain for that, so I don't know what they paid for the building, but now the city does own that building, and it will be coming down. We had the young lady here from the city talking about the community center 2 or 3 months ago, and that's when they did the faux demolition of the tattoo parlor. Well, I think they finally decided they better get that down sooner, being it was advertised in the papers that they were demolishing that building. So that one came down, so that's what happened on the corner. I don't know how long it's going to take this one down. But that's the extra. And so the whole corner and everything will all be remodeled for the Canyon Country Community Center. And like I say, when it's done, I'm sure it'll be quite attractive, and it will be a benefit to the community, but we have to wait. And like I say, I've told you in Whitaker Burmite and all that, 3 to 5 years. This one's supposed to be done in 2020, but I'd say it's closer to 3 to 5 years. That's just looking out on the property also as we went by across over to Solomon. They are going to, when they do this project, they are going to White Solomon. There's an area towards, I forget what, Dolan Street. I think it's Dolan, where it's almost 1 lane over there. They're going to widen it so that Solomon will be 2 lanes, both directions. So. Then we went on up Sierra Highway, and we came to the entrance to Skyline Ranch. And Skyline Ranch is the development that they're putting up on top of the mountain where they scalped our hillsides up above, and it's quite prominent to all of Canyon Country that you can see it, which is a surprise to us because we've been following that project for a long time, and it was put on hold during the recession. And they've come and talked to us years ago. We haven't been able to get them back to come and talk to us some more. This road is going to connect Sierra Highway with Plum Canyon, and it's going to go up through the development. So we went by there. The only problem was we couldn't get into it off of Sierra Highway. It told us to go to Plum Canyon. So this is the entrance, and that's the road that's going to go up off of Sierra Highway up over into Plum Canyon. But this is as far as we could get on this side. So anyway, we turned around on Sierra Highway, we ended back down Soledad, and this is Lost Canyon going out to the Vista Canyon project out in the riverbed. And you go into there, and they've got it all blocked off now, so you can't even get there, and that's the area where the open space was turned into, they changed the zoning for the electronic billboards and that type of thing. You can't get out there now. You can just barely get onto the bike path. And we couldn't get any farther. We couldn't get really good pictures. They have built, they're in the process of building one office building in Vista Canyon, and they've also built their water treatment plant. And so those two things are this building's being constructed. It's about a 3-story building, and that's the first thing that's been going up. I have noticed that they've been grading for 2 years. They've got a lot of sewer pipe or water pipe laid out, so they're going to start putting pipe in. And this eventually will be 1,100 residences out in the riverbed. So that's adding 1,100 new homes, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 extra people, an extra couple thousand cars. Lost Canyon, where you go under the bridge, that intersection where the dentist office is, they're going to put a light. It's going to be a signaled intersection. They have put in sidewalks along Soledad now on the south side along there, and I'm sure Jim Backer paid for those because they planted a bunch of trees. And about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was pushing for trees to be planted along Soledad, the city gave me the song that they don't plant during the summertime. Well, when somebody else is paying for it, they planted in the mid. It was 110 degrees when they were planting the trees. Trees haven't died yet, so they get water, so they're still doing well. So we have a sidewalk from Canyon Country Park all the way up to this almost this intersection. They stopped it just before the intersection, so I'm sure there's going to be right turn lanes put in and that type of thing. But that's going on out in the riverbed. And that's just a picture across the property looking over into Fair Oaks Ranch. Fair Oaks Ranch backs up to the railroad tracks. They're putting in a new train station there. And they're going to be moving the Via Princesa train station from Via Princesa over to this project here. So eventually, when this all gets done, that's where it's going to move to. There will be a bus transfer station and a train station there in the Vista Canyon project. This is on the corner of Sand Canyon and Soledad. This is the Sand Canyon Plaza project, over 500 homes. They're going to scalp part of the mountain on the right and the big hillside there that you have to go around. It was it's pretty rocky and very hard, and it's a very steep slope there. They're going to cut half of that down, move it out. It's going to be a small retail, supposed to be 3 high-end restaurants, a senior center or a senior living facility, and then about 500 homes, apartments, condos, and some single family. And that's going to, well, it's been on the books for a long time. The property's pretty much cleared. There's like 1 or 2 mobile homes left, a couple of buildings they haven't tore down yet, and they haven't started actually on the project, but it will be soon. If anybody noticed the sign that City of Santa Clarita put up when you get off the freeway at Sand Canyon, we have that beautiful sign that says, "Welcome to Santa Clarita Canyon Country." Well, when they put that in, they had it all designed. They were going to put a couple of oak trees in there. And I couldn't understand how come when they were landscaping that, and they brought these trucks in with these trees on them, and the trucks sat there forever, or for about a week or so, and all of a sudden the trucks disappeared and the trees disappeared. And I couldn't understand what was going on. Well, we talked to the developer, and we found out that he saw what they were going to do. They were going to plant oak trees. Well, he's developing this whole corner. He's going to have to move their sign and rebuild it. And so if they put oak trees in, he couldn't move the oak trees because of oak tree ordinances. So he told him, he says, "Don't put oak trees in there, put something else." So then they took the oak trees away, and about a couple of weeks later, they brought something back and they put the pepper trees or whatever it is. And that was the reason they changed the trees. So the sign's there now, but as soon as he starts his project, the sign will disappear for a while, and then he'll be putting a new sign in after the project's done. But like I say, there's another 500 homes on this corner. Then you go on down Soledad all the way down towards Shadow Pines. Facey's building a brand new building. And that's the brand new building for Facey. It's almost ready to open. It should probably be within a month or so that it will be open. And they're landscaping. Landscaping's almost done. It's down right next to the freeway and all the way out just past Shadow Pines. But then you have a brand new building. Now you got the building that they were in. Well, they're leaving this building, and this building will be vacant. So now we're going to have another vacant building on Soledad Canyon Road. So this building will be vacant, and that building's vacant right next door. So we're going to have two office buildings right next to one another, both of them vacant. This one's been there. They built it at least 10 years ago, and it's never been occupied, and it's never been finished on the inside. They've had a bunch of problems, and I know they've had 2 or 3 different owners, and it's still sitting there. Personally, I think it's really, after they painted and stuff, it really actually is not that bad a looking building, but they've never had anybody go inside. And they landscaped the outside, and they re-landscaped it, and then they've had a car go through and knock over some things, and they've had it re-landscaped again. But still nobody's there. So soon Canyon Country will have 2 office buildings, medical buildings that are vacant. So I don't know what's going to happen. We haven't heard what's going to happen with the all that building that's just going to sit there. Now, alongside that also, we do have quite a few mobile home parks. Now, this one mobile home park next to the Drifters Bar and stuff is scheduled to be demolished. They want to put in, Doug, what, you said senior housing is supposed to go in there?
I haven't heard what's going in, but it's going to be a multi-housing building.
So there's a developer that wants to take this mobile home park out. This one's right next to the Drifters Bar. It's on Soledad across from the railroad, or from the fire station. If you look at the little shopping center that's right there, there's 2 mobile home parks. There's one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left, or the east side, is the Sierra complex. That's going to stay. The one on the right is run down. It's getting even more run down, and that's supposed to be taken out here in the next.
This one is a rental. They rent the home and the land. There's no homeowner in this park, so they don't have to close it according to moving the house out and the homeowner. They're just renters, and they're just like an apartment house. They're just telling them to leave.
You can see there's not a lot of pride of ownership there. I mean, it's pretty run down. And I've noticed, like this one on the corner now, he's got broken windows and things like that in his house. I go by there quite often, and it's not real pretty in there. So that mobile home park's going to be gone, and they're going to develop something there, multi-use, residential on top and retail on the bottom. That's what everybody wants to do nowadays. And that's just another part of that mobile home park there. So then we went over to Sierra Highway, and we took off up south on Sierra Highway, and we're coming up on Golden Valley. Well, the city's plans are that they're putting in a pedestrian bridge for the kids at Golden Valley High School so that they can cross Sierra Highway, have a bus stop, and cross Sierra Highway over the bridge for safety purposes. Well, this has been the longest bridge to ever get put up. They've been working forever on that. I guess they're letting the cement cure, but it's been curing for quite a while. And it's hard to see somebody working over there, but we drove up there, and the truck's got its cranes stuck up. And so we drove by, and we were looking for somebody that was working, and they're putting in new traffic light poles. And finally we got by, and we found a couple of guys that were working on it. But there was only 2. This project's been taking forever. They went and took the Alfred Memorial bus stop out to put this in, and it's been almost a year now since that's been gone. they're putting in the bridge. The only problem is the bridge is going to be about 200 to 300 feet north of Golden Valley Road. So unless they put up some kind of barriers to keep these kids from crossing the street on the corner, this is my opinion, but unless they do something like what they've done in Vegas to make the people go over the pedestrian bridges, I can see the kids still crossing at Sierra Highway because they don't want to walk the couple hundred feet to get onto the bridge. But the bridge will be north of Golden Valley, and it's probably 200 to 300 feet from Golden Valley. So, but they're putting that big bridge in, and that's what all that construction is, and that's what's going to happen. I hear there's going to be some real issues coming up this next week with the traffic on Sierra Highway. That's going to coincide with the opening of school and everything else. It ought to be fun up in that area. So my suggestion is stay away from there.
After they cross Sierra Highway, the bridge dumps out into that plaza. So that may be why the businesses said, hey, we want all that foot traffic to come through our plaza and buy stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of it.
Right.
It dumps right out into that plaza next to.
So anyway, so that's what the project is here, is with it's basically a Paseo Bridge going across Sierra Highway, and that's for the safety of the Golden Valley students. Let's hope it works. Then we went up onto Dockweiler. And we drove up Dockweiler, we drove down to the end of Dockweiler just to see where the Dockweiler extension was going to start. This is where it's going to start. And we drove out a little far and looked over the edge. And Dockweiler is going to drop down and then go across our mayor's property and then go over to 13th Street. And we still have a problem figuring out the traffic pattern to where it's going to save any kind of traffic, divert any kind of traffic to do this, but that's what they've decided they're going to do. But anyway, so that's looking right off the end of Dockweiler. You're looking down into Newhall, and that's where the road's going to drop down and go over to 13th Street and then drop you out onto Railroad Avenue. Then you look back down Dockweiler, the other direction, and their plans are to make Dockweiler 4 lanes. The only problem is with all the condos on both sides of Dockweiler, and all these cars are parked there, and this was in the afternoon. This wasn't even when people are home. This was about 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You see the cars that are parked along Dockweiler now. When everybody's home, there's cars up and down Dockweiler totally. I mean, they're bumper to bumper. You take the parking away from there, you make that a 4-lane road, where are you going to put all those cars? And all the parking spaces are already full, so what are you going to do with all these cars? And that's the next problem. But that's the plans, is they want to make Dockweiler 4 lanes, they want to extend it all down the hill, and that's what's coming about. Of course, we talk a lot about parking. Parking's not the best. The city's not the best in the parking business. They're trying to be, and we'll show you in just a second how that works. Anyway, so that's just, Al got excited. That's the results of the fire. That's when we went down Valle de Oro, because they had the fire over there. And that's the hillside that burned up. It was it was halfway up Valle de Oro. And it was pretty tough to get to because it was on the other side of all the condos and things. And so they were lucky they didn't lose any more than they did. So the fire department did a hell of a job to knock that out, because it wasn't very big, but it was a very scary fire because it was hot, and the flames were huge. They didn't burn a lot of property, but they did burn very fierce, and they were right next to those condos. They lost 14 residents. I think they've got to rebuild, but they were lucky, and they didn't have any injuries. So now we'll go down into Newhall, and this is the famous boutique hotel that they're putting in Newhall. It's on Railroad Avenue. It's in the parking lot of the old Roger Dunn, and they're putting the boutique hotel in there, and that is the boutique, right? That's the boutique hotel? That is the hotel. Yeah, that's the hotel they're putting in. We'll see what happens when that gets in. You'll be able to go down there and get a room and spend the weekend and go tour the Newhall Ice House, and or you can walk over a block and go to the barbecue and then go to Canyon Gill Theater, all that kind of stuff. So it's a real destination hotel, and so they're putting that in. On the corner of Market Street and Main Street, that's Soundsations. Danny and I went to high school together many years ago. Danny's owned this property for over 30 years. He's had many conflicts with the city. The city's been trying to get him out of there for the last 20 years at least. He's been sued by the city and everything else. He's got his business has been there forever. He's been there forever. City's been pushing him out. So apparently they finally got it because Danny's moving. He's going to Valencia somewhere. But he owns the corner there of Market Street and and Main Street.
How'd they get him out?
I'm not sure exactly because I haven't talked to him. They sued him a couple of times. I don't know if they bought him out or he just found something for it. But he owns all that property, and he owns all the way. There's a income tax and something on the corner there up by Main Street. But he owned the whole corner, and for a while they wouldn't let him work on any cars because it's a stereo shop, and they wouldn't let him work on the outside. So he was renting some auto bays down by where Billy's was, down towards the library, and he was working out of those and out of here. But they rescinded on that, and they've let him work on there again. So, but he's leaving, obviously, and so the city will be able to put some more destination things on to add to the arts and entertainment on Main Street.
Did he own the Raptors building also?
The which building?
The building behind the
I don't know if he owns that building or not. I know he owns the corner of Main and Market, but I don't know if he owns the one right behind it. Well, this is that's on the corner of across the street from the library. That's the new Crossroads project. And this is where it's going to be retail on the bottom, and they're putting residents on the top, and you can buy a condo up there and live across from the library. Oh, they're apartments? Oh, I thought they were going to be condos. Oh, yeah? Okay, there's only apartments, so you can rent an apartment, and then so when your library book's due, you can run right across the street and turn it into the library. Because this is right across the street from the library. It's right next to the world-famous Newhall parking structure, and we'll be right in front of the Lemley Theater when that's built. But this will be, I think it's going to be 3 stories, isn't it? 3 stories with 2, and then subterranean parking or something also. So anyway, so that's more of the Crossroads. That's along Lyons Avenue right there. And then you make a right turn, because there's only one way to get into the new parking structure, and that's the way it is. If you're going north on Railroad Avenue, you can't get into the parking structure. You have to make a left on Lyons, then a left on Main Street, and then a left on, I think this is 5th Street. And so there's only one entrance. It's on 5th Street. This is on Railroad, and you have to go down and make a right turn, but you're not allowed to make a left turn off of there. You have to come around the street to get in. So we decided to go in the parking structure. And rumor was parking structure was a little over 6 feet tall, so you could barely get like an SUV in there. Well, when we pulled in, the bar said it was 8'2". So we said, okay, so it's not as short as we thought it was, but let's drive in and see what it is. So you drive in, and they've got a beautiful sign there. It tells you all the wonderful things that are going on in downtown Newhall and everything that can go on. And so you have this brand new parking structure, and we went in and farmers market and shopping, and you can have a party on top of the parking structure. So anyway, so we finally got to the top, and the second level is only limited 2-hour parking. So if you're going to the Canyon Gill Theater or something like that, you can't go to the second level because you'll be there too long. You can get a ticket. But you can go up to the 3rd, 4th, or 5th levels. I think it's 6 levels high. Anyway, this is the top, and then you can rent out the top for a party. So that's one of the views for when you have your party. Yes?
What's fun is that we had the first party up there.
Uh-huh.
We had easy ups, 6 stories up, and the wind was kicking.
I'll bet. I bet.
You're like, well, this is
And it's not very big on top.
And they had to rent outhouses for people to use.
And I also heard,
Free down.
I also heard the story that they couldn't get the outhouses to the top because they were too tall for the parking structure, and the truck got stuck in there with the outhouses, so they had to let the air out of the tires of the truck so the truck could back out of the parking structure.
So free alcohol on the top, but nowhere to go.
That's right. You got to ride the elevator down to get to the restaurant. And
They were talking about it.
how big was the top of the parking structure?
They told me that the flat area was 300 square feet.
The flat area on the total top of the parking structure is only 300 square feet. And that's what they want to rent out for parties and that type of thing. And make sure that you have a quick elevator down if you need to go or don't drink so much. Anyway, so that's the top of it, and the elevator and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, there's only 300 level square feet. 300 square feet that's level up there. Then you start down. There's a down ramp and that type of thing. But and there's a couple of views that are not bad. I went on the parking structure of the Kaiser building, and it's a lot prettier off the Kaiser building parking structure than it is off this parking structure. But that's the brand new parking structure that we have. And I was at Egg Plantation this morning, and we drove around the block about 3 times looking for a parking space. And they do have a sign pointing to the parking structure, but the parking structure is like a block and a half away to get to the Egg Plantation. So we drove around a couple of times, and we found a place finally. But there is more need for a lot more parking, but Egg Plantation is advertising where it's at. But that was our tour of the parking structure. And that's just looking out. Then we came down Golden Valley Road. And lo and behold, they're grading for the new sheriff station. And that's where the new sheriff station's going. It's where the old Fire Station 104, temporary Fire Station 104 was at. They've moved Fire Station 104, they've moved the truck to Fire Station 150, which is up by Golden Valley, across from the Target. And that's where the fire truck is now. They used to be here. And they're grading there. The only problem is who's paying for the grading. Al's perused the budget to look for money to who's paying for the grading, and there's nothing in the budget that designates fees to pay for the gradings. But they're busy at it. They've got earth movers and all kinds of things out there grading for the new sheriff station. And that's where it's going, right on Golden Valley Road. So then we came on down, and we went over to follow Golden Valley down, and we went up Golden Valley towards the 5 Knolls project. And we pulled up to see where the new senior center is going. And this was a sign for the senior center. And the thermometer on the right doesn't go all the way to the top. They're building, but they still haven't got enough money to get the project done, but they're building it. And it's impressive building. We went over to see it, and it's pretty much framed, and it's going to be a large building. And this is where they're going to move the senior center, and it's up on Golden Valley Road. And they're well underway putting it in, and it's an impressive sized building, and hope they get the rest of the money to finish it and to maintain it. Buildings that size are going to take a lot of money just to maintain. County, giving back to county. It's a county building. So anyway, this is that's the new senior center that they're building, and then they're putting in senior housing around there, and these are single-family detached homes and all that. They're all 2 stories, so seniors, I don't know how many seniors want to, I guess you can put an elevator up and down your stairs. They have a pool right there as you pull in, and they've got a lift. They pull you out of your wheelchair and put you into the pool and that type of thing off the pool. Only problem is the pool is about 200 yards from the first house. And so seniors with walkers or wheelchairs have a long way to go from their house to the pool. So that'll be quite a trek to get down to take a dip in your community pool from this housing. Plus, Like Al said, where's the 20-foot setbacks? And the ordinances of the city are 20-foot setbacks. These houses, the doors are right on the road. So if a senior happens to come out the front door and trips and falls, you end up in the middle of the street and hoping no cars coming by so they don't get run over. But this is all the senior housing that they're building up along just by the senior center that's going in with the 5 knolls. Those $500,000 or thereabouts. And now this is pulling out, and it's Golden Valley Road, and we just went on up Golden Valley Road. We decided to go and try to get on the Skyline Ranch project, because if you go up to Plum Canyon and you turn off of Golden Valley, you turn right, which you're heading east. You go up to Heller Circle on one side, the second Heller Circle, and if you turn left, that's Skyline Ranch Road. So we decided to take Skyline Ranch Road. And you go back about a mile and a half on asphalt, and they have some models along there. So we decided to go back and check and see where it went to. And we drove along, and we did about they've graded that, and like I say, they've really scalped the mountains up there. They really did a hell of a job smoothing those mountains out and things. And so we were on the road and on the road and on the road, and then all of a sudden it ended. And we hit gravel. But they got all the curbs in still, so we decided to follow the road. There was nobody there to tell us not to go, so we decided to follow the road, and we went back another mile. And we followed it back and just seeing what it is. And they're getting ready, and they've got, like I say, they've got all the roads in. There's a traffic circle up there, and getting things to do, and we went all the way up. Whoops. And we ended up just above White's Canyon. We went all the way back, just way up above, right above White's Canyon. And there's just the gravel up there, and they've got the roads all ready to go, and the housing, I'm sure, it won't be long before the housing is going in. We were talking about traffic circles. The project on Sand Canyon, the Sand Canyon Plaza project, they're required to put in 1.5 traffic circles on Sand Canyon for that project. So there will be north of Soledad, there will be 1.5 traffic circles on Sand Canyon. The other traffic circle is being put in by Vista Canyon, and that will be at Lost Canyon and Sand Canyon, which backs up because there's a stop sign there. That would become a traffic circle, and it'll be a big traffic circle. The city's bought the property all around there that they're supposed to put, or Vista Canyon's building the traffic circle, but the city bought the property so that they could do that. But so there's going to be 2.5 traffic circles just on Sand Canyon alone in the near future. And like I say, Vista Canyon is 1,100 homes. Sand Canyon Plaza project's got 500 homes. And Skyline Ranch has got over 1,000, I believe, over 1,000 homes up above. And the road will connect Sierra Highway and Plum Canyon. There will be a traffic circle. There will be a couple of traffic circles to go around to try to keep cut through traffic on down. But that's what they're planning up there, and they're well on their way. And they did move a lot of dirt up there to do it. And like I say, I was surprised it's so visible from Canyon Country, because when they presented it before, I thought it was going to be down below the ridge lines, because their property stretches all the way to Vasquez Canyon. They're not going to develop to Vasquez Canyon. It's going to be open space. This is about a quarter or a third of their property that they're developing, but they own the rest of it all the way to Vasquez.
There's plots on Vasquez for homes.
Is there? So, but their property goes clear to there. And like I say, when they first presented it to us, we thought it was going to be down below the ridge lines. And it's not, and it's very visible. But the city's annexing all of this. The Sky Blue, or this Skyline Ranch is part of the annexation that the city's made.
August or Canyon Country?
North Canyon.
It depends tomato or tomato. You can say part of it's in Canyon Country, part of it's in Saugus. Just say it's Santa Clarita. I don't know what the zip code will be up there.
91390.
Okay. So anyway, but right now it's county, but it's being annexed into the city. So that was our tour around town to all the things that are going on. And there's a lot of things, and traffic is going to get nasty. You think it's nasty now? I know I live in the Pine Tree Track, and sometimes about 7 or 7:30 in the morning, it takes me between 20 minutes or so to get from Flower Park, a mile from Sand Canyon. It takes me at least 20 minutes to get to Sand Canyon. And when they open Sand Canyon Plaza, and they open Vista Canyon, shit, I'll never get out of there. We'll have to telecommute to even these meetings. So anyway, so that's our scenic tour of Santa Clarita. Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was born and raised in rotary traffic in New England, and then I was sent over to England when I was in the service, and they called them roundabouts. I've not seen any rotary traffic or roundabouts with a pedestrians crossing. And Lost Canyon has heavy foot students, pedestrians in that intersection where they're going to put that roundabout.
I know one of the provisions of that roundabout is that they put a crossing guard there.
Over?
There's going to be a crossing guard at the roundabout at Lost Canyon and Sand Canyon.
Does he stand in the middle of the roundabout?
He's going to be on one side. I know there's going to be a crossing guard there.
Okay.